What happens when studio precision meets lifestyle luxury? In 2025, that question has a clear answer. The Sennheiser HDB 630 versus the Apple AirPods Max. Two flagships that couldn't be more different. One engineered for professional accuracy, the other designed for effortless elegance. But which one really delivers when you care about what you hear, not what you see? Let's find out. Start with design philosophy. Sennheiser's HDB 630 is a closed-back wireless headphone built with studio DNA. It's meant to reproduce music exactly as intended, not to flatter or exaggerate. The build feels professional, dense, purposeful, and almost industrial. There's precision in every hinge and pad, a clear emphasis on durability and replaceability. The AirPods Max come from Apple's school of industrial art. Rounded aluminum cups, a stainless steel frame, and a breathable mesh headband create a headphone that looks like a fashion statement as much as a piece of audio gear. Each pair radiates luxury and a certain tech prestige. The Sennheiser is gear, the Apple is a statement. Comfort is where these design choices start to matter. The HDB 630 fits snugly but comfortably, with deep ear cups and memory foam that seal out noise without pressure. It's meant for long sessions, editing, mixing, recording, so you can wear them for hours without thinking about them. The AirPods Max deliver a different kind of comfort, plush and suspended, almost like they float on your head. The mesh headband spreads weight nicely, but the metal cups add noticeable heft. After a couple of hours, you feel that weight. They're amazing for short commutes or flights, but not always ideal for all-day use. Controls and interaction follow that same philosophy split. Sennheiser keeps things simple and tactile. Physical buttons for power, ANC, and Bluetooth pairing, a detachable cable for wired listening, and no dependency on an app if you don't want it. It's built to work with anything, your interface, laptop, console, or phone. Apple does it their way. A single digital crown for volume and control, a mode button for noise cancellation and transparency, and automatic pairing the moment you open the case near an Apple device. It's elegant, frictionless, and entirely ecosystem locked. Outside that ecosystem, you lose some of the magic: spatial audio calibration, Siri integration, and certain EQ adjustments disappear. Now sound, the part that defines everything. The HDB 630 aims for balance and truth. Its 42mm drivers produce tight low end with excellent control. There's plenty of depth, but no artificial boost. The mid-range is clear and honest. The treble open, but well-behaved. It feels like a flat reference monitor in headphone form. You can hear the mix as it was intended, the microphone choices, room reverb, and tiny compression artifacts that define a recording. That level of detail is why Sennheiser headphones remain a staple in studios. The AirPods Max take the opposite route. Their sound is the result of Apple's computational processing, adaptive EQ, and dynamic head tracking that shape what you hear in real time. It's rich, wide, and impressively immersive, but also carefully curated. Bass is full and rounded, vocals sit slightly forward, and the highs are smooth and glossy. Everything sounds finished, almost too finished. It's a cinematic experience more than a reference one. When you switch between them, the difference is clear. The HDB 630 is raw truth. It tells you when a track was recorded poorly or overcompressed. The AirPods Max make everything sound pleasant. Even bad mixes get smoothed over. That's great for enjoying music, but less ideal if you're a creator trying to evaluate sound objectively. The HDB 630 wins for accuracy. The Max wins for polish. Let's talk about noise control. Sennheiser's ANC is strong, a clear step up from their older Momentum series, using multiple mics to reduce ambient hum without coloring the music. It's not as aggressive as Apple's implementation, but it feels natural, allowing some air to breathe. The AirPods Max still sit among the best in the business for noise cancellation. They analyze external sound hundreds of times per second, creating a near-silent bubble even on airplanes or subways. Transparency mode remains industry-leading too, keeping voices and traffic sounds clear without distortion. If your priority is silence on the go, the AirPods Max are phenomenal. If you prefer a more natural, less processed environment, the HDB 630 strikes a nice balance. On the technical front, both headphones showcase serious engineering. Sennheiser uses Bluetooth 5.2 and supports aptX Adaptive and aptX HD through its BTD 700 dongle, ensuring low latency and high-resolution wireless playback up to 24-bit by 96 kHz when connected digitally. It also works as a wired USB-C or analog headphone with no latency whatsoever. The AirPods Max run on Apple's H2 chip, enabling instant pairing, spatial audio, and voice assistant control. They're optimized for Apple Music and Apple TV content, offering low-latency wireless for those ecosystems, though they still don't support lossless playback over Bluetooth. Both brands take different approaches to resolution. Sennheiser pushes higher bitrate audio transmission. Apple focuses on seamless integration and smart processing. Battery life and reliability also set them apart. The AirPods Max offer around 20 hours with ANC on, respectable, but less than the 60 hours claimed by the HDB 630. Sennheiser clearly prioritized efficiency. Charge once, and you're good for days of work or travel. Even better, you can switch to wired mode and keep listening indefinitely. Apple's design is wireless first. When it's dead, you wait. The difference becomes obvious in long sessions or studio settings where you can't afford downtime. Durability and repairability are another clear contrast. The HDB 630 is built for decades of use. Detachable pads, replaceable cables, and serviceable components. It's the kind of headphone that ages well because you can fix it. The AirPods Max are beautiful, but less forgiving. The aluminum scratches easily, the mesh can stretch over time, and battery replacement isn't user serviceable. You treat them with care, like a designer accessory. If you value longevity over luxury, the HDB 630 wins again. Now, soundstage and presentation. On the HDB 630, the stage feels wide but anchored, realistic left-right placement, accurate imaging, and depth that feels authentic to the recording. For mixing, that's ideal. The AirPods Max use processing to create a sense of space larger than the physical drivers. Spatial audio with head tracking gives an immersive theater-like feel. It's convincing for movies and series, and for music, it feels like being in a virtual venue. Impressive, but slightly synthetic. The HDB 630 is truthful to the recording. The Max is truthful to the experience. When we look at frequency behavior, the AirPods Max offer a bass emphasis that gives tracks warmth and punch, mids that are smooth and recessed just slightly, and highs that are delicate but rolled off to avoid fatigue. It's the classic consumer tuning, lush, rich, and forgiving. The HDB 630 leans toward reference neutral, bass extension without boost, mids up front and present, highs articulate and airy. It's not a sound that grabs you instantly, but one that reveals its depth over time. For critical listeners, that's where the magic is. The HDB 630 also benefits from Sennheiser's long-standing experience in studio engineering. Every generation refines their driver architecture for lower distortion and better phase coherence. The result is a headphone that translates mixes accurately across different systems, something the AirPods Max don't prioritize. For casual listening, you may not notice, but for content creation, it can be the difference between a balanced mix and one that falls apart on speakers. Both headphones represent modern audio philosophy in their own way. Apple believes software can perfect hardware, that computational audio can adapt sound to the listener. Sennheiser believes hardware still defines truth, that great drivers and acoustic engineering don't need tricks. Neither is wrong, they simply serve different users. Price and value are hard to ignore. At around $549 USD, the AirPods Max deliver convenience, design, and ecosystem integration. The HDB 630 comes in around $499 USD, sometimes less, offering higher battery life, broader compatibility, and a more neutral tuning. If you want a headphone that just works in the Apple universe, the Max is a beautiful choice. If you want something that works everywhere, lasts longer, and sounds closer to what producers hear in the studio, the HDB 630 makes a stronger case. When you consider daily use scenarios, their strengths diverge clearly. For travel and commuting, the AirPods Max are still among the best you can buy. They cancel noise exceptionally and offer that effortless wireless experience people love. For working, recording, and deep listening, the HDB 630 feels more reliable. It stays true to the source and never gets in the way with software changes or battery limits. There's also a psychological difference worth mentioning. The AirPods Max make you feel immersed, almost transported. They turn listening into an experience. The HDB 630 makes you focus. It reminds you that music isn't just background, it's craft. Apple's approach is pleasure first. Sennheiser's is truth first. Both are valid paths to great audio, just with different intent. As we look toward 2025 and beyond, that contrast represents a bigger trend in audio tech. One side pushes smart features, AI tuning, and adaptive sound. The other doubles down on craftsmanship, longevity, and faithful reproduction. If you're the type to update devices every couple of years, the AirPods Max fit naturally into that rhythm. If you prefer tools that stay relevant for a decade, the HDB 630 is the clear winner. So, which is better? That depends on what better means to you. For ease of use and noise control, Apple still has the edge. For accuracy, longevity, and raw sound quality, Sennheiser takes it. Both headphones show how far audio has come and how different our priorities have become. In the end, the AirPods Max represent where audio comfort is heading: personalized, adaptive, seamless. The HDB 630 represents where audio integrity remains: precise, durable, and pure. Choose Apple and you get a perfectly curated soundscape that flatters every song. Choose Sennheiser and you get an honest mirror that reveals every detail. Because in the world of headphones, perfection isn't universal, it's personal. And between these two, your choice says more about how you listen than what you hear. You've just seen how sound divides into two worlds. Now, tell us which one you'd pick. Drop your choice in the comments and don't forget to subscribe for our next showdown.